Ground Branch is a shooter unlike any we've seen for a very long time. Marrying the gameplay of both the original Rainbow Six and Ghost Recon games, it adds a number of mechanical improvements that are as of yet unseen in other FPS games. That means we need to wrap our heads around a new way to play, even for those of us who have been around since the old glory days of tactical shooting, and to relearn some basic movement tactics we may have forgotten along the way. To that end, here are 15 tips to help you hit the ground running in Ground Branch. Tip 1. I've seen people accuse Ground Branch of being clunky, but that is not true. This stems primarily from the fact that Ground Branch has 3 separate ready stances, with the gun held low, up and ready to fire, or pointing up at the sky. These are all useful in different situations, but they are not necessary. Until you get used to changing the ready stance of your weapon, set it to a stance you like, then don't touch it for the remainder of the match. Just focus on pressing the right mouse button to bring up the iron sights. That's really all you need until you get a handle on the concept and can more easily change things on the fly. In this way, the game will feel more like most shooters. You can try switching things around when things are quiet and you don't expect any trouble. Later on, you'll be able to do it on the fly in combat situations. 2. Once you master the controls for the ready stances, you might consider using them the following way. The rifle held low. Use this when moving at the front of a squad, or when moving alone through open spaces where contact might not be imminent. With the weapon held low, you'll have the perfect view of your surroundings. Holding the rifle at the ready. This should obviously be done anytime you expect immediate contact. If you don't want to look through your optics, but want to make use of a targeting laser, you'll want to hold your rifle at the ready so there is no delay once you spot a tango. Which you will want, because the enemy will certainly not delay shooting you. Holding the rifle at a high ready stance. Use the high ready stance when moving within a squad, or when stacking up at doors where you are not the first man in the stack. The reason you want to do this is so you will not accidentally fire a rifle round into the man in front of you, which might still happen with the rifle held in a low ready stance, and especially with the rifle held at the ready. Tip 3. Ground Branch allows the player several forms of communication. For direct and easy communication with your team members, you can press the V key to chat in a 3D space around you. This will allow a team to split up and approach an objective from different angles, where individual fire teams can talk to one another without cluttering up the team's radio channel. This is important when you want to call out a tango in a certain direction, which would be the wrong direction for the second fire team approaching the objective from a different angle. Pressing B gives you access to the team's radio channel and is the second way to communicate. It will allow you to talk to any member of your team, no matter where they happen to be in the map. Lastly, for those players without microphones, there is the option to use pre-recorded messages by pressing the N key. However, I urge you to buy a microphone so you can give quicker and more detailed information to your team. One final tip: when you use 3D voice over IP, it's not just your teammates that can hear you. If you suspect the enemy is near, stay quiet and don't give away your position. Or use the team radio channel, which the enemy will not be able to hear. Tip 4. If you need to do a quick reload during combat, you will drop your magazine. Don't forget you can pick it back up and put it into your pouch if it still contains bullets. If you are out of combat and need to reload, hold down the R key, so you will not drop the magazine, and put it back into a pouch. Tip 5. Think before you move. Familiarize yourself with a map's layout in the ready room. Consider angles of approach. Through which route will you be less exposed? Will you open up a possible flank for the enemy to abuse? Move from cover to cover, and don't forget to check your rear. When playing with a team, don't assume someone else will watch that sector unless previously discussed. Most people are hungry for a kill and will focus on the front. Tip 6. Don't bring a long gun into small rooms. Attaching silencers is useful, but they also make your gun longer and will lead to more awkward entering of rooms. If you must bring a long gun, consider switching to your pistol for close quarters. Consider taking a pistol with a larger ammo capacity. Tip 7. Consider putting an offset rail on any long gun you bring. It will allow you to put a small backup sight on there and cant your weapon to a 45 degrees angle to look down that one instead of your main optics, giving you both the advantage of a magnified optic for long range and a fallback sight for situations where using a scope to track targets at close ranges becomes cumbersome. Tip 8. Do not run blindly upwards on stairs. Consider the fact enemies might be waiting up top and be able to shoot you in the back if the stairs twist back around. Clear the stairs in front of you, and where appropriate, try walking backwards up staircases so you can protect that angle. Tip 9. Slice the pie. When standing at a door, sidestep slowly from one side of the door to the other. In this way, you expose as little of yourself as possible while checking out the room. If you are alone and decide to just walk in, you won't be quick enough to save yourself if the room contains 2 or more enemies. Tip 10. When moving around cover, consider going around the right hand side wherever and whenever you can. You carry your weapon on the right hand side, meaning it will clear the cover before your body does. In this way you benefit the most from any piece of cover you find. When you move left around cover, you will first have to expose your body before your rifle clears the obstruction. In other words, you will be able to get shot before you get a chance to shoot. Tip 11. If you and a team stack up on a door and you are at the front, consider kneeling down so the person behind you can shoot over your head. This might not always be the best idea, particularly if the team plans an aggressive entry with flashbangs, so discuss with your team how you will approach the situation. Tip 12. When playing PvP, don't stand right next to a window if you want to fire out of it. Move further back into the room. You will make yourself a smaller target, and the enemy won't see a barrel sticking out or a muzzle flash unless they happen to look straight into that room. You do not need to stand right next to a wall to be able to use it as cover. Tip 13. Be unpredictable. Don't stick your head out in the same spot repeatedly. The enemy will remember where you were and have their gun at the ready. Consider crouching instead, leading out from another side of cover, or simply moving away and finding a different route towards your enemy. Let them keep an eye on an empty area while you approach them from the side or rear. Tip 14. When clearing rooms with a team, it is wise to assign sectors to your squad members. Tell person 1 to always go left, while person 2 always goes right, and person 3 goes through the middle. This way you can be sure all the corners are always cleared correctly. If you have more people than this, the remaining operators can clear sectors as the room requires and as they see fit. Follow that flashbang in as quickly as you can for maximum effect. Tip 15. Do not wear all black clothing. Seriously, tangos wear all black and you will be mistaken for a tango. That's it for my tips on Ground Branch. If you have any more tips, please do share them in the comments below, and I'll see you in game.